Paul Ryan has been on this program 5 times. He's talked about these issues before. I have raised with him the fact that back when Newt Gingrich was on the program saying that the Ryan budget and his plan to transform Medicare was, in Gingrich's words, right-wing social engineering, something he backed off from, that a lot of Republicans wanted to distance themselves, as they did, from the Ryan plan. And this is what he said back in May of last year. Watch.
Look, of course, people are scared of entitlement reform because every time you put entitlement reform out there, the other party uses it as a political weapon against you. Look, both parties have done this to each other. Here's the problem, David. If we don't get serious about these issues, if we don't get serious about the drivers of our debt, we're going to have a debt crisis. And the irony of this is all, if we don't fix these programs, people who rely on these benefits are going to get cut the first. They're going to be hurt the worst under a debt crisis. We're saying if we fix this now, we can keep the current promise to current seniors and people 10 years away from retiring.
So what he's now saying on the campaign trail with Mitt Romney is that President Obama will scare seniors about what they want to do about Medicare. Here is now a duo finally saying, let's solve the problem before change is forced upon the people who need these programs most.
Yeah, well, let's be clear. The president already has taken steps that added 8 years to the life of Medicare. His budget would add several more. He's made some important choices that are going to help that program moving forward.
8 years is not a real fix,
but the question,
though. 8 years is not a real fix to a program that's going broke.
There's no doubt, David, that we've got to do more. But the question is, are you going to do it in a way that preserves the program and the basic integrity of the program and the access to care that seniors need? Or are you going to turn it into a voucher program with ever-decreasing value of the vouchers relative to health care costs and throw seniors onto the tender mercies of the private insurance market? The question is, do you really believe in Medicare or do you not? I believe what Newt Gingrich said on your program. I think it's right-wing social engineering. I don't believe they believe in that program. And I think it's interesting that if you listen to your guests today and the first thing that the Romney campaign put out yesterday, they're trying to distance themselves from this plan. In terms of debt, I heard Congressman Ryan talk about debt. As you pointed out, this was a guy who rubber-stamped every aspect of the Bush economic policy, including not paying for 2 wars, a Social Security, a Medicare prescription plan, 2 big tax cuts, and now he wants trillions of dollars of more budget-busting tax cuts skewed to the wealthy. He's not in a position, he really isn't in a strong position to talk about this problem.
David, let's talk more about what Paul Ryan is campaigning on now. He was in Virginia yesterday, and he talked about the reality of the Obama record. This is in part what he said.
No one disputes that President Obama inherited a difficult situation. And in his first 2 years, with his party in complete control of Washington, he passed nearly every item on his agenda. But that didn't make things better. In fact, we find ourselves in a nation facing debt, doubt, and despair.
He went on to say, look, President Obama, even though he campaigns against Washington dysfunction, got everything he wanted. He got a stimulus. He got financial reform. He got health care reform. We're at 8.3% unemployment. That's the record.
Well, the record is when the president walked in the door, he walked into 800,000 jobs a month being lost. The quarter before he took office, we had the worst performance since 1930. That is the economy that Paul Ryan and the Republicans delivered to this president. He took steps to stop that free fall. But of course we have more to do, and we have more to do not just to deal with unemployment, but to rebuild the middle class in this country. And the way to do it is not to give trillions of dollars of new tax cuts to the wealthiest Americans, raise taxes on the middle class, and cut things like college loans and research and technology, infrastructure, energy. This is a prescription for economic catastrophe. And what is surprising to me is that having been part of the first catastrophe, that Congressman Ryan thinks that we should double down on that policy and do it all over again.